It's time. Hello, and welcome to Into the Liminal Abyss. I am your show host, Shatan Noir, and today I am talking with Miss Beverly Fish and Mr. Omar Yeldell, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you about their backgrounds.
All right. Well, hello everyone. I'm Omar Yeldell. I am a paranormal investigator, empath, shaman, and spiritual life coach. And my experience has been with psychic paranormal pretty much all my life. Started as a young kid seeing things and hearing voices, and but right now what I'm working with is spiritual cleansings of homes, um, and our services that we do are free. And I pretty much go into someone's home, look for different entities, try to identify those, and then also sitting down with them and giving them some information as far as lifestyle choices that would improve the positivity in their home and help move out the negative energy that they might have in their home. Anywhere from diet, exercise, to positioning different things within their home, what the home might be lacking, and giving them some homework to do themselves. It's not a one-time uh, cure or remedy or fix. Or put some things in motion that'll continue the positivity throughout their life and within their home as well. And I was very fortunate to meet Beverly at one of her lectures. I went to her class afterwards, and we kind of clicked, and have been working together since for just about a year now. So.
Okay, my turn, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm Beverly, and well, of course, most psychics, as they say, we were born that way, so we're always different, and we realize that. And only now can we start to say that, though. When I was growing up in those dark ages, we didn't dare say that because it was like being the gypsy fortune teller or weird person. So my family was psychic, and I just grew up knowing that I could talk to dead people. So when I met the ghost in my house, and I was probably about 10, and I realized that I could do that, and then I could realize I could find them other places when I went other places. People came and talked to me. So I've been doing that, and realizing that sometimes I can help people by talking to their loved ones, and I helped with that for a while. And then it was after a while that I realized that people sometimes needed help, and sometimes it would be helping people cross over, or just helping people identify who's in their home. And oftentimes I did the investigations and just to find out who is in your house, what's happening in your house. And I started to encounter some negative things. So eventually I was called to do this, to start to come into a home and be able to cleanse it and rid the home basically of anything that is a negative entity or a demonic presence. So that's what I really enjoy doing, is fighting demons.
Which is interesting. I talk to a lot of paranormal investigators, and they tend to they tend to shy away from anything demonology, demon related. They'll call it a negative entity or a negative spirit, but they don't want to put that stamp on it that it's demonic or that it's something of that worst case scenario. And to me, it's actually kind of refreshing to see and hear someone say, "Yeah, I straight up fight them," and this is what my specialty is I am a demonologist, and that's very cool that you actually approach it with that openness and that you're actually willing to go after them.
Well, once you do, you're in the game and you can't get out. So you might
Right.
go after them.
Pretty much.
Once
Yeah.
you say, okay, I'm going to get you, and then they often when we were doing, if we had readers, recorders, or were recording something and I came in, almost always they would say, we know you. It's like, okay, they know me. They know I'm coming in, but they have rules, and that's the kind of neat thing. It's like demons have rules, and if you follow the rules, you know what the rules are, you can get them to leave. The problem is, like with Omar, people like Omar are really needed because they often, I can go in a house and I can get rid of that from the house, and I can steal off that house and I can do that. But if someone's going to bring it back in, if it's attached to somebody, and if, like Omar's saying, if they're not going to change their lifestyle, it's just going to come back.
Exactly.
I clean it out, but it doesn't mean that after a couple of days it can't come back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because if they, it's all about you can't just clean the house and do a cleansing. The people have to change their behaviors. They have to change because I know people who they'll go and they'll buy something from a thrift store or a yard sale and bring it home, and it has an attachment. So you go and you remove the attachment, and 3 months later they do the same thing again. And it's like, no, you have to make better life decisions than
You're absolutely right. I mean, you can almost, the analogy you can use is like with addiction. There's a reason, if you're going to recover from an addiction, there's a reason why there's 12 steps and certain things you have to do. You have to change your lifestyle. You, to some extent, change the people you're hanging around with too. All those bad influences. Because if you don't, then the temptation to slide back in there, is ever so real, and the possibility is ever so real. It can happen like that. So the same with this, with these spiritual decisions that people make, and if they're not grounded, they don't have a really, really strong faith, then they're open in itself. And that's sometimes where the influences come in too, because I'm gonna see if I'm enjoying this group and see what they're all about. What you need to do is find out from your center what makes you feel protected. Where do you feel unconditional love? Where's that coming from? And if you have a name for it, there's different God, universe, this religion, that religion, that's fine. As long as you know 100% that you're protected, okay, and there's an anchor there. So at times of trouble, you can go there and you can find, answers and resolve. Then that's what's missing, I think. And when people don't have that, that's when those little openings for negative entities, demonic entities, that's all they need. A little tiny opening like that, and they can, they can enter them.
Now, do you find that people who have addiction problems tend to
Absolutely.
have more?
Oh, yeah.
Beverly's shaking her head. Yes.
It's self-destructive. Look,
yeah.
demons are self-destructive.
Yes.
Right? That's all they want. They want to destroy you. That's ultimately.
I always tell people that they're going to look for anybody under any kind of addiction, sex addiction, alcohol addiction, depression. If you don't get it taken care of and get on medication, or you just let it, and you just kind of spiral down. Sometimes they'll help you spiral down because they know here is a good victim. They're not going to come like people that are very positive, upbeat. They say, I've never encountered anything negative. I said, well, you're not going to. You're such a spiritual person, and you're such a good person. You live to the good side, you haven't gone to the dark side.
Right.
If you go to the dark side, that's where you meet the death. Why are they going to go to the good people?
Yeah, if you always see life as the glass is half full, everything's always sunshine and rainbows. If you see it as half empty, then everything is always Eeyore time. You're always in that.
Are really.
Of course, this happened to me because I'm the unlucky, and that's the people that they target. Is
Right.
The people who have the more negative viewpoints is who get targeted and get attached to, because it feeds off of that negative energy off of
it
them.
has to have negative energy or somewhere, some chink to enter, and they can't just come and attack somebody. They have to invite it in. So they have to get you. I mean, they can come in and start to infest and then go into oppression and try to work on you, but you have to have something they think they can work on. So if they get there and they start to work on that, and then they start making it worse and worse, and you'll start losing your job, and then you get depressed, and then this happens and that happens, and one thing just seems happening after another. And that, if they call us in right then, we can kind of steer it off and get rid of it. Like I can cleanse the house out, you can get them to work on themselves, and you can help them. If they wait too long, I mean, it's going to be kind of almost too late. You have to wait. I mean, you have to get in there when people call us. I like to come and really help them as soon as we can, because the quicker you get out there and start helping these people, the better they can recover. We can get rid of the negative, and hopefully they'll change their lifestyle,
Right.
and improve. But yeah, it's like people have free will, and I think we forget that we are here incarnated to see how we do. Are we going to live a good life and be positive, or are we going to be drawn to the forces of dark? And it's our free will to do that. So people usually choose to do the wrong and bring in these demons. It's not an accident, and it'll happen to people if they aren't careful.
Now, I'm assuming that you're sensitive, so you pick up that. Now, do you use, I know you do investigating and research, but do you use anything any equipment to determine whether it's a poltergeist, whether it's just a ghost, if it's an intelligent haunting, or whether it's, demonic? How do you determine when you're going into a new situation and you're just meeting the people? How do you make the determination of what you're dealing with?
Well, I don't use any equipment other than maybe a digital camera on my cell phone, where I might take some pictures. I might have a drawing pad as well, because I'm an artist. I can draw certain things that I've seen. Sometimes I do this so I can remember, or just to get the energy off of it. But more like if I'm in the house, so I like to tour it. I like them to give me a tour of their home or whatever, and then afterwards I ask if I can go on my own, and then a lot of times they just let me go on my own. And if I find what I consider to be a hot spot or a place within the home where there's something there, I just sit down and kind of enter a state where I can communicate with them, feed off them, whether it's the empath ability, where I'm not getting words, but I'm getting the energy,
Right.
or in other cases, I could also get the words. So I don't come across poltergeists in that sense, but I've come across spirits of suicidal beings that have passed over, don't know that they're dead in a sense.
Right.
I come across more so those type of things, those type of spirits. Sometimes it's a ghost just doing a repetitive thing at the same time of the day, doing the same type of thing, or it could be a thought form, which I find more often than not. We ourselves, we have that creative energy within ourselves, and we can, whether it's anger, depression, whatever it is, when that focus and the creative energy come together, it can create something that's right here. This has a depressive nature to it, and if that's not taken care of, it starts to feed and can get
Because
to the point.
thoughts can become forms. Yes,
They are, and we all have that within ourselves. So if you're not careful, you don't reverse that, or you don't put something out there, then it can get to the point where it has a life of its own.
Yeah, and I've always been a strong believer of that. Be careful what you think, because it can become a form, and once it becomes a form, it becomes actuality. So it's very, what you think, what you believe, becomes real. And if you're not careful, you can create some really bad situations for not only yourself, but
exactly. So in the society that we're in, a main concern would be those that are in asylums, those that are in prison, because that's most of them have time. They're just thinking and thinking and thinking, and they're not well. You put the two together, to me it's no mystery why society's in the condition that it is now, because we have these thought forms that are being fed, have a life of their own, and are looking to attach. So all they're looking is for the right energy around you that they were composed of, whether it's of a sexual nature, or depression, or just pure hatred, anger, evil, whatever it is. They'll find it, and next you know, you have one that's attaching to maybe the form you started creating yourself, and that comes the influence. And then more than why people seem to be just snapping out of the blue. It takes some time. They don't see it, so they think, this person just snapped out of the blue. No, there was something going on behind the scenes. That,
Yeah. Yeah, I read, it's a very, very old book, but I actually found it at, it was a free book drop off, but The Magic of Believing. And it's a really old book, like really old, like the pages are kind of getting brittle on it. But the author talks in depth about how if you believe it, it will come to fruition, to the point where he actually wrote it, and was doing the research of it, during the Depression, and he told people in his investment firm, if you think this company is going to fail, I want you to walk out the door and quit now. Because we need people to
Right.
believe that we're going to be successful and we're going to make it,
Right.
in order for this company. And the people who were negative left, people who were positive stayed, and his business actually became very successful. And so it's very important for people to realize what you're thinking, how,
Yes.
what's feeding your energy. Is it positive? Is it negative? And I'm sure, you, Beverly, have, seen this firsthand with dealing with demons. And
Well, I can always tell when I walk in a door. I mean, if there's a demon there, they're going to let me know it. So I know it. I mean, it's like when you walk in a house and there's been an argument in the room, you know it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, there's tension here. But you know it. You pick it up. And
Yeah.
you're like, there's tension. Something's going on, unless you're totally some people don't pick up stuff. But anybody that's a little bit sensitive, you're going to pick up, like, is there a good feeling in this room? Bad? Well, it's the same thing. Demons are so negative, so hatred. They feed on hatred. So they're just so intensely, and they just leap on you. And I know, I thought, okay, before I even get to a house to investigate it, sometimes I know. I mean, they'll call me and say there's a house, and I think about the house, see the house, and I think, oh yeah, there's something, and it's in the basement, or I know what it
Right.
is. I mean, I know it's bad. Or sometimes I don't, but I just know that it's different when you come in a house, and I think, oh yeah, there's something bad here, but I think it's human, and that's good and bad. I mean, humans have free will. If they want to leave, they can, but if they don't, it's going to be really hard to get rid of that. And so they could be, just making your life miserable because somebody decided they didn't want to leave their house when they died, or they got brought in by somebody. But with demons can't bother you too, unless, like Omar's kind of saying, you have to invite it in. So you've had to done something to invite it in. I mean, it tries to work on you until you get so depressed you say, oh, well, if you can help me, oh good, help me. And you kind of invite it in. Or a lot of people get involved, and you don't believe it today, but it is true. There's a lot of people doing all kinds of rituals, and I run across that too. And or there's people doing Ouija boards, calling things in, and that's a great vehicle for calling in something. And it really does. I mean, you think you're talking to somebody, but how do you know? You don't really know.
Right.
Unless you have, a trained person or somebody that has discernment and sensitive that says, wait a minute, this energy feels off. But for the regular common person, you shouldn't be messing with stuff that you don't know what you're bringing in. Yeah, you can bring in all kinds of things. And with a demon, you can get rid of it because they have rules. They can't hurt you, but they can make you feel like so depressed and so discouraged, and you stop sleeping, and you stop doing hygiene, and you start isolating yourself from friends, and it really mimics mental illness. So that's really difficult.
Right.
And we're saying it's like, how do you know? But it can be that they get you so. I mean, suicide's rising, right? And I mean, I worry about that. I think more people are being influenced now more than ever because they're falling away from their spirituality. I mean, where is our spirituality anymore here in this country? I worry about that.
Yeah.
And going to a church doesn't make you a very spiritual person.
No.
It's good. I mean, it gives you a good environment sometimes, and you get friends in a community, but it doesn't mean it can't be dysfunctional too. So you have to work in, like Omar said, within yourself to make sure that you're, get your spirit cleansed and feel good about yourself and what do you believe in. And if you don't believe I can help you, I can't help you.
Right.
So you have to have a belief. I have to find out where their belief system is.
Yeah.
What is their belief system? So I know how to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys are going into an investigation, what steps do you take to protect yourself?
Well, again, that's kind of personal, our belief system too.
Okay.
What we believe in. But I know, even though this predates the Catholic Church, because negative and positive are around, but when they came in and started naming it and giving it names, and finding a systematic way to approach this because they believed in it. When they first sat down, remember, Jesus was an exorcist. If you look back to the Bible, the New Testament, and read about it, he cast out demons all the time. That was his purpose, to get rid of the negative and demonic things and to make humans go to the light and get better and evolve. So the church kind of set down some rules and stuff about this, and they knew how you could, systematically set about it. So actually calling in St. Michael is still a really good thing. I tell people, no matter what your belief system, if you believe this will work, then you do it.
Right.
Call in St. Michael, and he'll help you. And it doesn't, I don't mind if you're a Buddhist or what, call him in, he'll help you. Because it's the idea of him helping. And if you believe it'll work. So, but if you're a Catholic and crosses work, then wear those. If a St. Michael medal makes you feel better, wear that. If you have some Buddhist bracelets and emblems, wear those. Whatever you think protects you. White light is really good all the time. Even when you're meditating, you should be learning to do that every day.
Yeah.
White light yourself, and never let yourself open. Just always use white light, bring it down, cover yourself. And always, just use that protection. Make sure that you bubble yourself before you go into an investigation.
Now, do you use any type of white sage or any type of blessing oils, holy water, anything like that when you're doing your cleansings, when you're doing your preparation work to actually begin the battle?
Well, what really helps, and I learned this from Samantha Harris, because I was working with families and I couldn't figure out why couldn't I really do this? And she was saying, we have to have all the people in the house working together. I thought I did it. Well, you are the person that's facilitating it, but by getting them to work with you, you can actually find out too if somebody's already getting oppressed and that person can't say their prayer, or they aren't, they're acting kind of strange when you're doing this. But if you give somebody sages, somebody does the anointing with the oil, someone else does the holy water, and I always salt because that's my thing. I'm the salter. But you go in systematically, room from room. You do a way of doing it together. You say the prayer in every room. That works if it's the house. If it's not attached to somebody, then you can do a house room to room, and at the end force it out the door, open door. So you can do that and then seal the house. Some people try to seal their house before they've done that, and I always say, you sealed it with salt before you cleansed it. You just sealed your demon. And I say, don't read these things and don't try to battle them yourself. If it is a demon and you've done this, then you made them angry and they're going to attack you. And so if you're ghost hunting and run across one accidentally, that's an accident and that's okay. They're not going to attack you if you leave. If you fight it, then you've just opened the battle and now you're under attack, and they can come and attack you back. So
it's kind of like
best
having a hornet in the house and making it really angry, then locking it in the room with you.
So when I go into a home, my approach is not, there's not going to be a battle. For me, this is not about a battle between me and an entity. It's more like a retrieval of a reminder. I go in there and I speak to the people that are living there or that own the house and let them know, listen, the house is an extension of you. Every part of this house you should be comfortable in going into. Okay, and if you're not, then I'm here to help you get that cleansed and get that gone. But it's not a battle. It's not about me trying to defeat something on your behalf. That's not it. I'm going to empower you. First, we're going to identify it, where it came from, why it's here, how it's going to get out of here, but then the choices you're going to make so that you feel empowered so it's not coming back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, what have been some of the most intense situations that you've had to deal with, if you feel comfortable talking about them? Like an example or a case scenario that you've both dealt with that you had to go in and either investigate or do a cleansing on.
Well, I think together we haven't had a real intense one yet, but I think individually before we came together we have, because she's told me some experience she had, and I told her some that I've had. So for me, the one that comes to mind was actually with family, my aunt's house, where she had something set up in her room, and it was geared towards getting the affections of someone, and it opened like a portal for uh, an imp to come through, and I just happened to see it. I didn't go there with intentions of cleansing her house, but that experience helped me to what I'm doing now. So I was laying down and I saw this thing like hopping in the air. I'm like, and it was hideous. It had a whole bunch of teeth, huge feet, and huge ears, and it knew that I saw it. But and my dad, who he's passed now, but he was a very, very good tarot reader, and astrologer as well. And I told him, because he was laying on the couch, and he said, "All right, we'll look at it," because he was trying to go to sleep. We'll look at it tomorrow, whatever. But so the next day when he did the cards, backed me up, and that it was there. And then went back up into her room. So I did when she came back from work, we did like a circle, try to explain to her what was going on, and holding hands to try to get rid of it, banish it, destroy it in a sense, send it back into the light. But it didn't work because she didn't get the buy-in. She felt kind of defensive because, again, I was there visiting them, to the point where after we did the circle and I was talking to her a little bit more about it, and she turned to me, and I don't remember exactly what she was saying to me, but it was in my aunt. Whole different voice, whole different demeanor. And right after she said what she said, she went right upstairs to her room, and I didn't see her for the rest of the night. So for me, that was kind of intense because this was still like in the earliest stages where I'm trying to determine what gifts I have and why do I have them and what am I supposed to do with them. And back then, my gift of sight was very strong. And because I was an artist, I was actually able to draw this thing. I have it in my book here. But I never lost that feeling, that intensity where, listen, I just told you what I saw.
Right.
We're family. You should and it wasn't like that because the person there was not my aunt for that, 5-10 minutes when she was talking to me. It was whatever this thing, and I knew this thing was going to allow more things to come in. So two things I took out of that whole experience. One was that the cat kept staring at the fridge, and day after day we're just sitting in front of the fridge staring at it. Well, this thing originated or hid in the fridge with the water that was in there. That was one. And then the second was that hole that she felt where she needed to get the affections of a man was manifested, or was actually represented in her house. She had a huge hole in her roof.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I started putting together whatever affects us physically. You can see it in someone's house or wherever they live in their environment. And where she built that thing to kind of get his affections in her room, the plumbing for the bathroom was on the other side of the wall, and that tub was cracked, the pipe was broken, all these issues with the water.
Oh, wow.
So again, the cat's looking in the fridge, the cold water is where this thing kind of hid. The bathroom upstairs on the other side of the wall where she had like some type of that was broke. So that was a true life lesson of how now that I'm going to other people's houses, I look for those type of connections. If the spirit happens to be in the bathroom or happens to be in the kitchen, for me that means something.
Right.
Okay. If it's in the bedroom, it means something totally different. If it's outside, it means something totally different. But then I look for that connection between the house and the person. There's always a connection there. If you start to improve yourself, improve your health, you can also improve your house. Doing repairs, whatever the case may be. It's an extension of us.
Right.
Our cars are our mental extensions. Those are our thoughts. So when you find someone that speeds a lot, the training with their thoughts sometimes goes like that. So I don't know. That's the two. For me, that was the most intense to date. I could think of another one with some suicide, but that one, because it was family, that was really intense because that was the first time someone turned to me, different demeanor, different voice, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? So, you have one yourself?
Oh, I don't know.
She has several.
But they're long and they're involved, and it's difficult. And I try to keep it confidential, so it's really hard because, that's one thing about if I go to a home, I don't reveal unless they decide they want to tell their story. And I do have some families who said Yeah, I can talk about their stories, but yeah, I haven't told them I want to put it on a radio
Okay.
show. But yeah, they can do things. That's interesting. I don't know. I just kind of maybe I accept. I don't get as afraid of things. I don't know as most people. So, but it is maybe the crucifix thing. But I don't know that you don't. I'm writing a.
Where was intense? Something
I
you're
guess
like,
it
whoa.
wasn't so. I mean, I didn't do it, but
Yeah, her sense of it.
trying to
What's
tell
intense is
someone.
not. And when she tells us, I'm like, oh my god, what?
So you do think that's intense?
Yeah,
That
that's
when I
intense.
tried
I
to kill
wasn't
that
the
guy
one who
with the
thought it when
crucifix,
you
yeah.
told it. Yeah,
Well,
it's
I don't
intense.
know. It's just part of the story. Well, I am writing this story about my case that involves an incubus. So I am writing this story out, and there's got some part. I think maybe the thing that but they haven't done it anymore after that one time. But because I said, okay, now you can't bother me with that. You tried it. I had this thing about the dogs from hell. I really didn't like them, and I was up north once, and I had pulled up. I have a cabin out in the woods, and I shouldn't be talking about this because my family's going to. But anyway, oh well, that's kind of scary. Maybe I shouldn't say it. Anyway, I've had encounters with
Okay.
these guys. I won't say anymore, but I've had encounters, and I was really afraid. I mean, if I'm in the middle of somewhere, and I look. I pulled up somewhere and I looked out through my windshield, and there was these dogs, these two big black dogs with red burning eyes, and they were staring through my windshield. So I mean, they got to be big, right? So I'm
Right.
thinking, whoa, am I going to get out here? It's the middle of nowhere. I'm all by myself. It's dark. It's night. It's about midnight. What should I do? So I think this is kind of scary. I mean, I think it's scary to me. It was a little scary.
Uh-huh.
So, I thought, So when I'm really scared, I think, what do I do when I'm really scared? And I watch a scary movie, shut my eyes, because if you shut your eyes, you don't see it anymore.
Right.
So I shut my eyes and thought, okay, I'll just sit here. Well, it's really cold. It's like 30 degrees out, and I'm thinking, it's snowing. It's cold. I can't sit here for long. I got to get inside. So I'm going to have to go past those dogs, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. So my eyes are gone. I think, oh, okay. But where are they? Where did they go now? I didn't see where they went. So are they in the woods? Are they, where are they hiding? So I think, okay, I'm just going to get out of the car. I'm going to go in. So I did. In the morning, I thought, okay, I'm going to go out because there was snow. So I can see where they went, right? There's not a single footprint anywhere.
Wow.
There were no dogs.
Oh.
Is that scary? I think
yeah,
that's a little scary,
that's
maybe,
pretty.
right?
That's,
Okay, that
yeah.
happened.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the demons know that, so when they wanted to scare me, that's what they used.
Okay.
Because I kept saying, because I don't do this anymore, I don't say, I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to fight you. I'm not afraid of you. Well, I was saying that in this one house, and then so, yeah, they sicked them on me. So it's like, whoa. That's scary. So they knew that, because I was saying, I'm not afraid of you. Well, they knew that there was one thing I was afraid of, the dogs. And
Okay.
yeah, so I got in a situation where I was going to go down to the basement, and my partner said, don't go down to the basement. We're going to come back in the daylight. We're not going to go, we're done, because we had a lot of stuff happen. He said, this is enough for the house tonight. We're just going to leave. And I said, yeah, but I just want to look. And I kind of looked down the basement, and I heard them. I heard the panting and the coming up the stairs, and they're running at me, and I looked, and there they were, the glowing red eyes, and there were the dogs coming at me down from, like, how did they get there? I mean, I didn't have time to react, and all he saw was that I was plunging headlong down the stairs. He grabbed me, pulled me back into the kitchen, and saved me. I would have fallen down the stairs. That's a little scary, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So, okay, there's two incidents.
Yeah.
But I have stuff like that. I don't really think it's scary, and I think back and think, well, it's just interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I think it would scare people, so I thought, I think I'll write this out. Maybe I can make a little scary book. But I'm going to change the situation so no one identifies where it is. But I can write about it. So it's going to be a fictional account of something that kind of happened.
Yeah.
Really happened.
So, how long have you been a demonologist?
Doing this? Well, I didn't actually call myself that till, I mean, I dealt with it badly one time when I was in my 20s, and it was disaster, and that's a whole other story. And then I encountered him later, when I was in my 30s. Maybe in my 40s. I encountered this, but I had children, so that wasn't safe. They attacked my children, so I backed off. Then when they were gone, and I got this call to come to this house and check it out, and I did, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get rid of these. And I just knew I was called to do this. So, like they say, it's a calling. Well, I got the call on my cell phone, like, come and help me check out this stuff. So I got that call, and then ever since then I thought, I can do this, and it just, like, I just knew I could. And then things kept coming in, like, my spirit guides are always good about sending me books, right? So I go to a restaurant and someone's reading Hostage to the Devil, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Where'd you get that book? Oh, we're reading it for my class. I said, that's interesting. So I got the book, read it. Malachi Martin. I didn't know Malachi, so I read about him. Then I found out I'm a real devotee of Dr. Scott Peck, and I didn't know that he became an exorcist. And I just was online one day, and something said, go to his website. He's dead, he's passed on, but I think there's a book of his that you don't have. And I said, no, I've read all his books. No, there's a book you don't have. So I listen to my spirit guides always, and I brought up this book that he talks about becoming an exorcist, and I didn't know about that book. So I read that one. I just keep getting books. I went to the Warrens. I just started to try to talk to everybody I could, and to meet people and talk to people and get their experiences and see how they, and try to catch on, and it just, one thing led to another. There's no coincidences. Everything is that.
Now, have you ever done an exorcism, or is that something?
I did, actually, in Tennessee. Yeah,
okay.
I did have to do one. But that person was not fully possessed, so it was okay. Yeah, and after I read Scott Peck, I knew that you didn't have to be a Catholic to do that. He became an exorcist, and one of his concerns was he wasn't even baptized. He wasn't in a church, so he went right away. He became a friend. He called Malachi Martin, and he said, I want to be an exorcist. And so he said, okay, we'll talk about this. And he went and got baptized so he could be, safe. And then he became an exorcist.
Wow, interesting.
Did it. So I thought, well, that, and I had to jump in and do that. In Tennessee, it was like something we just had to do it. Because we went there for another reason, but found out we had to
do it. Now, so how long have you been?
Well, I've been, let's see, like the empath part all my life.
Right.
And as far as hearing and the clairvoyance, seeing that.
Sorry,
I come from.
I got one for you too.
I come from a family of psychics on my dad's side. Like I said, he was a tarot reader and astrologer. My grandmother was a psychic. She read coffee grinds. Actually her first, you know how kids play with imaginary friends? Hers was a grown man without a head. She played with him in the yard.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You think, oh well, that's kind of weird, but that's okay, right?
Yeah.
we all have our experiences.
That's how I was as a kid.
Right.
Oh, well, that's
So
weird, but
but that as family. So I guess that's just the soul group I come out of. And on my mom's side is more of the religious.
Right.
My dad's side, the paranormal and the occult. So I'm gonna count both of those merged together. So I write articles and write some things online too. So you'll have a sense for both. Like I might use the creation myth in something that I'm writing about, a psychic ability to do something. I'll merge the two.
So you basically have like 1 foot on each side.
Correct.
You're in
Correct.
the middle. You walk that neutral line where
Yeah, but it's great for understanding.
Yes, it is.
And I spent some time studying like the world's major religions as well because I wanted to know what different perspectives people were coming in with, because you'll be able to communicate better with them as opposed to just having that one perspective. I'm a Catholic. This is pretty much what I know. So you come to me and you're a Buddhist. Now we're going to have a little issue here because according to my Catholicism, this Buddhism thing is not, you're
and
going
they have a different
right.
approach to dealing with.
Right.
Yeah.
But in studying all of those, I mean, I was raised, I went to Catholic school up until the 7th grade, and it wasn't a good experience, but it was good information that I can apply now, so, and in studying that, it just opened my perspective, like a worldwide perspective is what I wanted versus, just my little corner, my little thing. So,
knowledge is power now.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but the most important part of what I do, like the shamanic type work, that came to me in dreams. I didn't have a lot of faith in man per se. Like I wasn't looking for an actual person on Earth. to come show me or teach me or train me or anything like that when it came to that. But I knew there was more to what was going on with the empath ability, with being clairvoyant and astral traveling here and there, the remote viewing. And before I knew that it was all that encompassed to a shamanic type of a way of being, I was being taught in my dreams. So for me, and I've mentioned about Beverly as well as a demonologist, it's not something you learn in just one lifetime. This is lifetimes worth of work that gets you prepared for what we're doing here, and we'll go into the next life probably doing some more. But in learning in my dreams, it was more vivid, more real, and more personal versus having to be taught by somebody. I'm not saying that you can't get something from an actual person teaching you, but to me, these guys that taught me in my dreams, best thing. And and the symbolism, everything is real personal, and it was something I can carry. Not just that I have that experience, but then carry on and also use that to connect with other people with their dreams and their experiences. So, I mean, the empath, like ever since I can remember, but the shamanic, I would say about 20 years altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give anyone who is dealing with a paranormal situation? How long should they wait?
Call us.
Like when
call us, and we can put, like, sometimes on the phone I can say, oh, that's nothing. This is and I can talk to them on the phone, and we can talk through it, and I don't even have to go there. I mean, sometimes it's easy. Like you probably have that too, and you can just deal with it on the phone. You can tell them some advice because you just know it's not
right.
But then I'll say, oh no, I'm coming tomorrow. This is serious. It just depends. Sometimes I hear of a case and I think, oh no, I think I just get this feeling. Well, I use my spirit guides a lot. I mean, they'll tell me. I rely on them. They'll tell me if I need to go right away.
Right.
Or, oh, that's okay. You could just need to call that person and work it out. So I just rely. I mean, it's not me that's doing it. It's coming through me. I would always remember that. I'm using the spirit and the force of good through me. And I'm just a conduit to do that. I mean, but I think my advice is, well, if you think there's something going on, it's better to find out and not worry about it, because I can put it at ease. I mean, maybe it's just a grumpy old man that's living in your house, and they were grumpy, and maybe they're grumpy before they died, and now they're dead, and they're still that way.
Yeah, right? So, the personality of a spirit does not change.
because they don't go and work
from what they were as a human being.
They're still here working on it. They haven't gone to the light. They haven't worked through anything. They're still there. And and a lot of times most often it's not demonic. So that's the good news. And if you're a positive person, if you're spiritual, and again, it doesn't have to be going to church, but you have a good belief system, you believe in the good, and you don't go to the dark side, like, again, any of these addictions or obsessions, and just try to not harm anybody or anything. I think the Buddhists have it, living in a life that doesn't harm anyone, and yourself especially.
Right.
Yeah, I think that the first and foremost, most important thing for them to know is that they're not crazy. Because I think a lot of times they don't want to talk about it because they convince themselves that really didn't happen when it did.
Right.
Right. So I've been there. Right. So first and foremost, you're not crazy. You're not going crazy. You're not nuts. There's just a whole other world that I think now as a society we're kind of breaking through some of the barriers and some of the stereotypes and all that, and more people taking it serious. Second, you're not alone. There are people out there that can help you and help you understand what's going on. And if you happen to be someone that wants to develop it, fine, you can find help with that too. If there's someone that you want to go back to, I don't want any part of this, we can discuss that as well. So you want to be careful who you talk to about it, because some people will ridicule you if you're talking to the wrong people, and that's just going to make them clam up more.
Right.
So the important thing is that there are people like myself and Beverly. We definitely help anyone that we can, and that's one of the things that drew me towards it, because for me it's important to know what a person's intent is, and I know Beverly's intent is to help people.
Right.
And that's my intent as well. And we would go to extreme measures and whatever we have to do to kind of help folks. That's at the core. That's what we're doing here. and it's not a financial thing. Our services are free. So, and we're out here. We're from Ann Arbor. It's what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're just up the road from me in Brighton, so yeah.
getting
Yeah,
the
we're
word
really
out,
close,
and
yeah.
So now, how do people contact you if they want to talk to somebody about what's going on and they want to get a second opinion about and get a good opinion, good second opinion about what's going on, and should they be concerned? Should they, seek further assistance? How can they contact you?
Probably the website is the best. The fullmoonrising.center. .com was already taken, so it's fullmoonrising.center.
Okay.
And if they contact them, we'll get back with them.
Okay.
Okay. But my number is 727-244-0650. You can call, text. My email is my first and last name, Omar Yeldell. Yeldell, well, the whole thing is OMARYELDELL @gmail.com. I have a website as well, which is the State Spiritual Consultations. If they Google that, it'll bring up my website there.
Okay.
Beverly's contact information is on there as well, and I look forward to hearing from anyone, even if it's just a conversation or a story.
Sometimes that's
whatever.
really good, just to put someone at ease, like, oh no, I think, that's pretty normal. I mean, that'll happen. Or a poltergeist, is not evil. It's just being caused by somebody that's got a lot of energy in that house, and it will stop.
Right.
But you might come out and lay those fears, because you'll know the difference.
Right.
Or maybe your kid's saying things, but he's a psychic and you didn't know it. I mean, all kinds of interesting things.
Yeah.
I met such interesting people by going out and saying, wow, and I really like some of these people. And sometimes I just go and cross over their ghosts, because see, ghost groups don't do that. So that's the difference. Like, they want the ghosts because they need to get evidence.
Right.
We don't need that because we're not working on
Right.
that. So we can go out and just cross people over, which really makes me feel good, because I don't want them stuck here.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
got to figure out why they're here, and relate to them, and talk to them, and figure this out, and get them to leave. I mean, because that's just sad, because I had a vision of that, because I said I was going to be a ghost and I was going to haunt, and I was not going to leave my cabin. I loved the boys, I'm going to stay here, and I had this vision about how lame that would be and how boring that would be, and I thought, no, I'm never going to do that.
See, that's what I use as a warning to, like, family and friends, is, if you get me killed, I am still coming back and haunting you for the rest of your life.
Yikes. That's funny.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to both of you,
thank you.
and I will keep in touch with you guys, and thank you for talking and having a conversation today.
It was our pleasure. Appreciate that.
That was really fun.
Thank you.
Yep.